Hey guys, I've got a question for you. Do you think that you can party all through your 20s, 30s, and 40s and become a millionaire? Let's get into it. Now, I'm up north in Michigan on vacation, and I'm near a boat launch where I saw literally 50 to 60 boats of people coming in and out of this boat launch all day, partying it up. You know, it was kind of wild and fun to watch, to be honest. You know, it's fun to watch people having fun, okay? But if you think you can go through your 20s, 30s, and 40s and continue to party like you're 18 years old, think again, okay? You will never make it to become a millionaire unless you have some crazy, rich mom or dad or some insane income level to where you can sustain that type of lifestyle. Okay, I'll give you my story and I'll tell you what I did to become a millionaire, guys. It's very simple. I only spent maybe 2 years at the most partying. Okay, when I was 18 and 19 years old, first year and second year in college. And that was it. I wasn't even 21 years old and I was done by then. I had met my wife of today. She was my girlfriend at the time. Obviously, she became my fiance and we got married. After I met her, I was done partying. I mean, every now and then, you like to go out and have a good time. Maybe once, twice a year, you get out on the lake, have a good time, maybe go to the club once or twice a year, but that's about it. But I'll tell you what most people do. They do it week over week and weekend after weekend after weekend. The entire summer, they'll go out and party and continue to do it in the winter. They'll go to the clubs in the winter and, go out freezing at 2 a.m. in the morning in Michigan. Go out drinking and partying. Do you think that's going to add any wealth? No. All that drinking and partying does is just wash away your money out here in the lake. You're just pouring it right back in the lake. That's all you're doing. When you could be investing that money. Let's say you go out and it's a $50 or a $100 night. Now, it's been 20 years since I've gone out to the club. It used to be probably for $50 you could have a good time. Today, what is it? Maybe $120, $150. Maybe you actually give your credit card to the bartender and roll up a tab for you and your friends. That's not going to help your wealth. That's going to destroy it. Okay, that's going to send it right back in this lake and sink to the bottom. You'll never see it again. And I saw this growing up. All right, I grew up in a town called Waterford where we had 32 lakes in a township. All right, that's a very small area. So everywhere you drove, it was lake after lake after lake. We don't even have a grid in Waterford. It's just this windy set of roads that go around the lakes. Okay, most cities are a grid, north, south, east, west, where you drive. And a lot of people get lost in Waterford because they can't figure out the grid, which is funny. But they go there to party. And what I witnessed growing up was people in their 20s and their 30s, 40s, and dare I say 50s. They could never leave this lifestyle of partying it up, of going out on your boat, of buying a $40, a $50, a $60,000 boat. One of these wake setter boats. You get out there, you party it up, you go surfing, and you do it for like 2 hours, and then you're done. You bring your boat in, and it's over. But people do that every single weekend. And you spend money on the gas going out. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's fun to live life. I'm sure that most of the people out here, I would hope, are out here on vacation. But I bet you there's a few of them that are out here every single weekend. They probably drive up every weekend from southern Michigan, where they got good jobs, good pay. They drive all the way up. They spend the gas money to get up here, go out on the lake for the afternoon, or come up for a short weekend, and they do it every weekend. And then they wonder when they're 50 years old and 60 years old why they're broke. And then they'll complain about the government, complain that, woe is me, inflation is horrible. but yet they spent their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s pissing it all away in the lake. You know, that's what happens, guys. And then they wonder why they're 60 years old and living miserable. They're done partying. They can't afford it. They're broke. Social Security isn't going to pay the bills these days. Inflation happens because people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, they go out and they blow their money on $60,000 boats, $100,000 trucks that to get the boat in the water takes a $100,000 vehicle. So now you've got $150K wrapped up in a boat that, don't get me wrong, it's a great time. It's fun to live life. I love living life too, but do it in moderation. That's what I'm talking about, guys, is in moderation. That will get you to become a millionaire and become wealthy. Okay, you can have fun in life. You don't need to do this every single weekend. You need to be working hard in your 20s and 30s if you want to get ahead in this world, because it's competitive. There's a lot of people out here who aren't doing the partying and who are competitive, who are going to beat out all the partiers every single day. While they're out partying on the lake, there's some nerd in, some office somewhere or their house. They're doing the research on AI. They're doing the research on coding, on whatever it is. If you're out there partying 24/7, it's not going to happen. You're not going to become a millionaire unless you just get lucky. You might get lucky. You might be good at maybe sales and marketing, and you're able to party with people and get out on the boat and sell them on a dream and sell them on some vaporware, whatever it is. But those are few and far between. The vast majority of people that I've seen, that I grew up with in Waterford, they do it every single weekend. I see their Facebook posts, and it's just weekend in, weekend out of partying, out on the boat, having fun. And that's great. Hey, if that's the life you want to lead, that's fine. But don't come complaining to the world when you're broke at 60 years old, because that's going to be the reality. Okay, you have to be diligent with your money. Okay, you need to save it from time to time. Okay, have fun here and there. I'm taking a vacation this week. I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to spend a little money here and there, but I'm definitely not partying. I'm over that stage. I'm 45 years old. I still, even to today, I saw boat after boat after boat after boat of 50 plus years old people, 45, 40 years old. Just, you could tell they were just out there, just ridiculous partying. Like, don't you get over that stuff? At some point, I was just sitting here in the lake enjoying myself, watching the craziness happen. But it reminded me of my days in Waterford. I remember seeing these people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and 50s doing the same thing nonstop, weekend after weekend. If they're not up here being a tourist, they're down there partying all summer long. I mean, that's life. I get it. But, I know now why people struggle in their 50s and 60s. And it's because of this. It's because they can't stop partying. They got a life to show, and it is what it is. But, I'm not going to complain about it. I think it's fun to watch, I think it's great people are having a good time. Nothing wrong with that. This is America. You should have a good time if you've been successful with your money. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's probably a few millionaires that didn't party in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and they're out there in their 50s, they're having a good time, because they can afford it. They can afford to do so. Okay, they understand that they've built enough skill, strategy, and wealth in this world to be able to do it. But a lot of people, they fall short on it. So, and I don't want you guys to fall short. I want you guys to have fun in moderation. Okay, you can do that. You can have plenty of fun in your life, but just, do it in moderation, guys. Okay, and save your money when you can. Maybe you were thinking about partying one weekend, and instead take the $100 or $200 that you were going to go out and party and go and invest that money. Okay, or shoot, go and put it in a high yield savings for all I care. It's better than spending it. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Have you seen a lot of your friends and family over the years, maybe on Facebook, just party week after week, and then maybe they complain about inflation, they complain about everything money-wise because now they're broke. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And if you guys could, if you like the content, like and subscribe, and take a look at my previous video if you could. And everyone, have a great day. Stay safe out there. See ya.